Blended in, faded jeans, scuffed boots, a gray hoodie with the drawstrings pulled tight, and a weathered baseball cap tugged low over his eyes. To the handful of customers scattered around the rain-dimmed diner, he looked like just another drifter nursing a lukewarm cup of coffee on a dreary Wednesday morning. But he noticed her, the waitress with hands that trembled when she poured refills, the girl whose smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Her name tag read Maya, and she moved like a shadow, barely there, barely seen. Her uniform hung loose on her thin frame, and her shoes slapped against the floor with every step, like they were falling apart just as fast as she was. There was something raw in the way she kept tucking loose curls behind her ears, a fragile attempt to appear composed when it was clear she was unraveling inside. He watched her, not out of pity, not from curiosity. He watched because he recognized that look in her eyes. Desperation. He'd worn that look once too. But what Elliot Hayes saw later that day, after the lunch rush faded and the rain kept falling, would shake him in a way no boardroom or balance sheet ever had. She slipped out back on her break, shoulders hunched, arms wrapped around herself. He followed, quietly, unnoticed, and saw her kneel beside the dumpster. The stench of rotting food wafted in the cold air, but Maya didn't flinch. Her eyes locked on a crumpled bag perched at the top of the trash bin, a sandwich, half-eaten, still wrapped. She looked around. No one there, except him. With shaking fingers, she reached in, pulled the sandwich free. Her tears mixed with rain as she whispered, "I'm sorry," before taking a bite. Elliot turned away, fists clenched, throat thick. This wasn't just failure. This was neglect, injustice, human erosion. He didn't approach her then. Instead, he came back the next day, then the day after. He watched the cruelty of her boss, Rick, a man with a voice like venom and a heart made of ice. Elliot watched Maya endure his shouting, his deductions, his insults. Still, she greeted customers with kindness, smiled at children through red puffy eyes, and offered free coffee to shivering homeless men who wandered in. She was surviving on sheer will and empty stomachs. He saw the bruises on her arms, the way she winced when she reached too far. He saw everything. On the fourth day, he left a $100 bill under his coffee cup. Maya chased him down the sidewalk, rain soaking through her uniform. "You forgot this," she said, out of breath, voice uncertain. "I didn't," Elliot replied, smiling. "Best coffee I ever had." She looked at him like he'd handed her the moon. No one had been kind to her in a long, long time. That night, Elliot opened his laptop and didn't stop typing. He emailed lawyers, drafted acquisition proposals, set meetings, made promises to himself that this story, her story, would not end in a trashy, stained alley. He returned once more, this time in a suit. When Maya saw him, she nearly didn't recognize the man with clean lines, polished shoes, and purpose in his eyes. "You look different," she said, unsure. He smiled and slid his business card across the table. "My name is Elliot Hayes," he said gently. "I'm the CEO of Hayes and Harvest. I saw you out back. You were hungry. You did what you had to do. But that shouldn't be your ending. I want to help you rewrite the whole story." She stared, stunned, tears threatening. "But why?" she whispered. "Because I believe in second chances," he said, "and you deserve one." Within days, Rick was out. The diner, now Harvest Hope Cafe, reopened with better pay, full benefits, and dignity stitched into every policy. Staff cried when they saw their first real paychecks. The kitchen gleamed. The culture changed. And Maya? She wasn't a waitress anymore. Elliot gave her a scholarship through the Hayes Foundation, the first of many. She finally studied what she'd dreamed of, nutrition and public health. He arranged care for her mother, found them a warm, safe home, and personally mentored her through the terrifying, beautiful climb into a new life. At the grand reopening, Maya stood before a crowd, no longer invisible, no longer broken. "There are people like me everywhere," she said into the mic. Her voice didn't shake. It soared. People scraping by in silence. All it takes is someone to see them, to believe in them. Her speech went viral. Donations flooded in. The Hayes Foundation launched a Second Chance initiative, training, supporting, and lifting young people like Maya from poverty into purpose. Maya graduated with honors. Then she opened her own nonprofit cafe, one that hires single mothers, feeds the homeless, and teaches the hungry how to nourish themselves with dignity. She never forgot what it felt like to be invisible, to eat in the shadows. But thanks to one stranger in a hoodie, she never felt that way again.